warping in from another dimension, coming to you live from Pixelland, the land of the single pixel, where the pixel glows in the sky and it gets brighter, and at night it gets dimmer, and they turn on the firmament with all the little sharded pixels at night. Do you live in this dimension? Hello, welcome,
this
friends.
Dimension? Welcome, friends. Star screaming, dream streaming. It's Friday.
Have you ever thought about how you might send a message between dimensions if there are multiple dimensions? You don't have to not answer that. I'm crazy. If that's the right answer, you just tell me.
Probably on the edges of my thought trails, yeah. but I'm started articulating that.
Nice. Cool. Okay, here's how I think you could do it.
Okay.
I think you could do it by, first off, you have to get some Large Hadron Collider level machine, right? Okay, so particle accelerator. This is how I lose my threads. I just go down extra rabbit holes. So so drop some breadcrumbs here. Drop some breadcrumbs.
Okay.
Dude, particle accelerator.
Gummy bear.
I got to. That's awesome. You're pounding those gummy bears. Stay under 20 milligrams. Just kidding.
Spoken like a real diabetic.
That was a stoner joke.
Yeah, but you remember these are candy.
I do know way more about the sugar content of my food than I should. Like sort of a sugar content food expert. Dude, it's just us. I bet we're on some server where here comes some other peeps. Just gonna make sure our friends here have their invitations. Invitations sent.
Bump
all right,
those guys.
All right, fam. Let's go. Okay. There's this Large Hadron Collider, right? That shit is in Switzerland. It's intentionally put on the corner of 4 countries so that they had kind of a shared interest in it, in everybody maintaining that big thing. Took 10,000 scientists to make it. Anyway, that's the one that they built in the 2000s. I got to see the one that came before that was called the Tevatron, because it was the first tera voltage what am I trying to say? Tera voltage accelerator. That's a lot of fucking words.
Tera voltage accelerator. Oh man.
Okay, so just think like the electricity you would need to run a city. Just think about how much that is, right? Mm-hmm. And then multiply it by a quadrillion.
All of the power.
And it's just like this. It's a dumb level of power in the. Okay, so the Tevatron, it's a teravolt accelerator. It's in this little place called Batavia, Illinois. And one morning I was living in a monastery there.
Illinois.
Oh, I have to come back over here. Yeah, I was living in a monastery, and so we got up every morning and we did meditation together and communion. It was awesome. And I'd meditate, and in my meditation, God was like, "You need to go to see this thing." And I was like, and I got clear on what it was in the meditation, and I was going to go to this Tevatron accelerator in Batavia, Illinois. And I went there, and I parked, and I got out, and I got the grand tour, and it was the largest physical particle accelerator and physics kind of place in America. And it had the world's largest particle accelerator, and I'd known about it. It wasn't a complete surprise to me that existed. I had read about it and I'd heard about it. It's the place where we discovered the quark. You know how people say there's
nice.
Okay, so super tiny shit, right? So everything's made out of atoms. Atoms are made out of 3 things at the level right below atom, and that's electron, which is this funky cloud, the Holy Spirit that covers everything. Then in the heart of it, there's neutrons and a positron. So neutrons and positrons. The more positrons, what am I trying to say? Proton. That's not what I was. It's a proton. Woo! A little elevated.
Yeah.
Okay.
Protons,
So proton.
Neutrons, electrons, but then protons are made out of
quarks. That's right.
Quark.
And there's this weird symmetry. So one of the weirdest symmetries about the reality that we live in, young Peter, is that every fucking thing that you can touch, lay hands on, whatever, like eat, everything, it's all made from atoms, right? And atoms have just these three basic parts. If you have one proton, and that attracts one electrical charge, one electron, you get hydrogen. But if you get two, you get helium. And if you get three, you get something else, and so on and so on and so on. Lithium, I think, is the one, but I can't remember right now. But in any event, what's wild about this shit, you know water is really fucking different from steel?
Yeah.
That's because of fucking protons. Just keep adding protons to the heart of the stuff in there, and when you get to a certain level, you're looking at iron rather than a soda. It's the weirdest. It's the weirdest. Why the fuck would it all be made of the same thing? Like why? Like what is that? Why? Like it doesn't make it. Like we don't make cars out of the same elementary particles. Yeah, we don't make cars out of the same elementary particles that we make like like tacos out of. Like there's fucking differences at our level, you know? It's just weird that it's basically not that complicated in terms of variety when you get down there, right?
No, it is weird.
It's weird as fucking shit, dude. It's like it's all the same. It's all made out of the same shit. It's like, yeah, it kind of is. It kind of fucking is. I don't even know what our objectives are here. All I know is I'm shooting some people in this hall, and it's kind of not bad. Doesn't suck. Okay. So you think like, okay, that's pretty fucking symmetric of our universe. Oh yeah, they're just taking B like they own it. Maybe we should go stop the steal. Gotta go run over here. Oh, this is when we have to like walk to work.
Walk to work.
Need some public transportation up in these streets. Come on, where's my MTA pass? Choo. Pop. Oh man, they got heroes. They're like they're taking this stuff like they own it. Whack. All right, nerd kebabs. Let's fucking do this. Boy, they know how to reincarnate, don't they? Reincarnation. Gotta get out of the way. Get out of the way. People should reincarnate on me, cause I'm fucking damaged out here. Come on, you nerd. Come on, nerd bucket. Let's fucking go.
Oh man.
Sorry.
Very close.
They had me. All right. So yeah, okay. You get down to those electrons. You get down to those protons. You get down to those neutrons. Right? Pretty symmetric. That at one point in the equation, you can just you could ask an alien species to count up the number of those, and it would you could tell a lot about what something was by how many of those it had. But anyway. You go the level below that, and you get into the quarks. And there's like an up quark, a down quark. There's an up quark, a down quark. Anyway, there's a whole nother level of them. And they're just more inversions of each other. Like, the neutron and the proton are made of the same shit. One's just the other way. And when I say the other way, it's just like the name for it. But, Flipped.
Different.
But yeah. There's
spinning orientations.
Even the basic stuff is made of basic stuff. It's even more basic and more universal. Like, isn't that which is also again weird? like why can't it just be? Why can't it just be at that level? Why can't it just be like, man, that's it. That's what it is. It's a proton. It's a neutron. It's an electron. No,
because it's connected to something else on the other side.
Something like that. Also, we don't even know. We're not even really good at figuring out what electrons are. Like we don't. It's not incredibly intuitively obvious. We don't really know what they are. But anyway, this is a long ass story. It's gonna be fun to figure out where the beginning of this thing is. I went to Batavia, Illinois, and I went to the Tevatron, and I got to take a tour and see it in the last week it was in operation before they shut it down for forever. Because the Large Hadron Collider had been invented, and they didn't need to do any science at the voltage that they could do in Chicago. They wanted to go do it over in Switzerland and do it over there because it had a much higher, it had 16 times, 4 times the voltage or something. I forget. It's not teravolts. It's the next level of volts. But in any event, I digress.
Petavolts.
Okay, back to our American-made particle accelerator. That sucker, they can get to the teravolt range. When it does its experiments, it uses these badass super magnets to keep little tiny parts of. Oh, we got Luke Skywalker down underneath. Okay, it has to build up energy. The Tevatron has to build up energy of the and the way it builds up energy is it holds these little super tiny particles in a magnetic field. God, they got a lot of heroes out here. In a magnetic field, and then it spins them around. So when you say when it's being called an accelerator, what is it an accelerator of? Little tiny ions, like little tiny little super tiny charged particles, like more or less like little protons. But I think it's like very specific kind of proton. Can't remember my math. But anyway, why do they do this? They do this because they accelerate these pieces really strongly to like these insane next level speeds, so that they can whack them into each other and watch them pop like little water balloons. And when they pop like little water balloons, for like a fraction of a second, you can actually see what the level underneath it is made of. Or you can like combine shit and it gets to like a higher level. So anyway, this is something I did not know, which really surprised me. But how long do you think it takes to, if you were injecting like city level voltages into a giant ass ring that just like spun these little ions around, how long do you think it would take you to build up the power to like, oh, we fucking lost this one. They really rolled us. They were really good with their heroes. Their heroes were excellent, really excellent. Nice job, you people. Let's go find Reach. We like to beat that guy up. Just kidding.
Reach?
Reach is the guy we always find on the server.
Oh yeah.
Okay, I'm in the middle of an extremely long story. I'm gonna finish this story. But first, how many death events do you have here?
Not enough.
Fuck no, me neither. I got 49. 49.
46.
I got number 1 in combat, so I was killing fools. But objective, I did not help with the objectives. I helped last. I was number 4. Okay, so like, all right.
Okay. So,
How long do you think? Okay, so like when you are in your car and you are at a stoplight and you press the gas, it takes a certain amount of time for you to reach your cruising speed. How long, if you were making a guess here, do you think it would take for the Tevatron to reach its cruising speed if you were pouring in like Las Vegas level voltages into it every second, like, and it stores that energy in the spin, so it's just, you're just like pouring this fucking energy in, and it just like goes faster and faster and higher, and it just keeps going.
So to get to the teravolt level energy,
teravolt level energy. Like, what would be a reasonable amount of, like, if you turned on your TV, like, what's a reasonable amount of time until it like shit does what it's supposed to do? Couple, like 10 seconds, 8 seconds.
10 seconds. That's, I mean, yeah.
It's a long time. When I was a kid, it took a fucking long time. You'd turn it on and it'd have to like warm up, and when you turned it off, it'd go down to a little point, like the universe went like compressed itself into a giant collapse, like boing.
Yeah,
it takes a week.
I would say.
Sorry,
it takes a whole week.
It takes a fucking week. It takes 7 days, 24/7 of just pouring energy into the heart of the ring, and after 7 days, the shit is strong enough that you can then take these two beams and cross them, and then they run into each other. And when they run into each other, they slam it, they break. And when they break, they give off these energy streaks, and you record the energy streaks, and then you can like determine what you think it was that came out of there. And that's how they discovered quarks, like the little super tiny things, was by breaking protons. And yeah. Anyway, I forgot where our story started. Stoner move, but we were like talking about energy.
Or meditation.
Meditation, love it. I don't know how we got to here.
You were talking about something you were doing while meditating or something. You saw this.
Saw this.
saw this P-Drunk collider in Illinois.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah. Totally. I went there and I took the tour and I got to meet a couple of cool scientists and I found out it was the last week that the thing was going to be in operation before they shut it down. And okay. Okay, thank you God. Thank you Peter. This is fucking great. All right, so that beam of energy after you warm it up for a solid week. Here's the thing. If you were to they have a thing called a scram, which is where they can like pull if everything messes up with this next level energy and it looks like the end is nigh, they can pull like this lever and like the energy of it will dump. So it'll take the beam and it'll put it into something that'll just stop energy and turn it from energy into heat. If that makes sense.
Okay.
You with me?
Yep.
And you're with me. And
Yep.
Okay,
Whoa.
check this out.
Nope, I died.
Have you ever used like copper wire, like had a piece of copper in your hand, like bendy copper?
Yeah,
it's kind of
done some electrical work.
Little electrical work. Imagine a piece of copper, a meter on a side in a cube. So it's copper, but it's I was recording this other dude. It's copper, but it's 3 feet on a side, like a cube of copper, 3 feet on a side. It's a pretty badass
so
cube, right?
Can dump the energy into that thing.
Yeah. When the beam hits a meter square of copper, it turns it into a gas.
Gas.
A gas. Like copper,
Whoa.
it wants to be like in the ground,
gas.
right? It's like a
so
mineral.
So they've had to do it before?
I don't know if they've actually had to ever pull the big thing, but that's what I was reading. That it produces that level of energy. Like that level of energy is so much energy that when you actually like bring it into our world, it would turn a cube of copper into a gas, like pow. Just like
so it's just enough energy to do that.
It's just a nuts level of energy.
That is.
It's probably super expensive. It's like way more than a town uses. So whatever towns cost, like add a couple, like times 2 or something. Anyway, our universe is very well held together. Like the chewing gum is good if we have to give it that much energy before it breaks apart and shows us its secrets. You know, it's like that's not no one's in the 3rd grade like accidentally hitting those energy levels and making those kinds of discoveries, right? Like you had to sit down and like figure out some serious engineering to build a machine that. Whoa, that was kind of cruel. I just shot 2 people in the air. That was like skeet shooting those humans. Pull, and then Darth Maul throws them in the air for you. And you see how many you can get.
Yeah.
I think I
started
started
with the shotgun in the air.
Dude, I think I started by talking about just like lots of energy, because the cube was the ending point of that story, and I can't remember what point it was.
Lots of energy. Well, you were gonna tell the story of your day too, or your
getting ready. 100%. Well, okay, I think I've made a discovery about cannabis. So,
oh yeah,
I found this this dispensary in this beautiful little town called Boulder, Colorado, and they sell the most amazing hash in a little pen format. So it's like a little vape pen, but it's hash, and it is next level. I have been exploring some altitudes with some consistency that I have hitherto was just an unknown land to me. But you know, clearly you can see how the memory is going. But but what I was realizing is that at these very high doses, which are great for my medical cannabis situation, what I was noticing is that my focus is just next level. Like I will sit down and like put my attention on something, and then I will look up and I'm like, did 3 hours just disappear? And I'm not exaggerating. Like I have lost whole quarters of a day. And so I have had to be very careful about where I put my attention, because whatever it's on, it's just gonna stay there. And it was like,
Yeah.
and then it got me thinking about the whole, you know how the whole thing about stoners being like, you know, out of it or whatever. And I think what's happening with the cannabis, you know, is it's creating like a focus, but most of the time people are just at like lower dosages,
Yeah.
and so it's not quite as obvious. So when you think that stoner is like tuning out, what they're doing is focusing on the music that they're listening to, or they're focusing on, you know, some signal in the environment that's not, you know, super obvious to everyone else. But when you are blitzkrieging it, you can basically notice these things because, you know, you've got it's like a focus enhancer is what I'm trying to say.
Right. No, I agree with that. And
It's terrible for multitasking. It's the worst for multitasking. Like, you cannot, like, just in this state,
Right.
I'm like, if I have to do two things in this state, I
like
do
a
both of them half as
context
well.
setting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's all about staying focused by choice. You know, like being able to choose what you're focusing on.
Yeah, I think that's how I see people who, like, if you're young and you use cannabis, you're just gonna waste your time because you're not gonna figure out what's important to spend your time on before you get locked into stuff, pretty much.
I don't know. I think you I might have told you this story before, but I was so stressed out as a teenager. I did some cannabis when I was about like 16 to like 18, and then I did not for a long time, decades, and I really think that I stressed myself out by not smoking weed. I think if just me as my personality, if I had been like born 20 years later in Colorado, like and had access to like awesome legal cannabis or whatever as a teenager, like as an 18-year-old or whatever, I don't think I would have developed type 1 diabetes. I think I would have had a much easier time sort of going through life, and it would have but I wouldn't have learned all the shit I learned when going through all those adventures. And those adventures were definitely worth it. I mean, in terms of like, I like my life.
Yeah.
You can't really second guess things, but there's a reason why it's called a medicine, and that's because it has a lot of very beneficial, healthy uses, especially in the pain management department. You know, it's the best one for pain management. Like, there's nothing else that's I mean, maybe not if you like lost a leg. I don't think you'd like ask for a J at the hospital, but like
Yeah.
You're like, hey man, you smoke this, but it's gonna take too long. Give me your pharmaceutical heroin. But that's like acute care, you know, like traumatic acute care or whatever. They just blew up our hero with grenades. We're gonna avenge our hero. Boom. So, takeaways from this. I think I have like my whole stoner foo has gone through the roof in the last like week. I have been this very fantastic boulderite cannabis I've been using has been teaching me. It basically is forcing me to meditate all the time. It's like forcing me to pay attention to what my head's doing, because like if I don't, I'm just gonna like I will. If I don't, I'll just get lost in the next visual interesting thing.
Right.
Like,
this to the next.
Yeah, it has been. I feel like I upped the. You know, like if you feel like a video game has like levels, like easy, medium, hard. I feel like I went up a few levels in terms of making the simulation work a little harder.
That's good.
Yeah.
Good. You're testing the
limits,
the code of this bit.
Testing the code, and also.
Yeah.
I've had some of the most transcendently peaceful moments of my entire life. No shit. In the last week. I just have been. When you can focus like so intensely, I'm getting things done at like a refined level where I'm like, man, what else do I want to do? Like for reals, like what else? Like this is like I am winning this game. Not to brag, it's been working out. I love my freaking life, dude. I love my life.
Good, dude. I'm enjoying my life as well. This is a cool game of life.
Cool game of life. Totally.
Cool people.
Hey.
Really enjoying the people.
Dude, I watched your Catalyst Swarm nomination video the other day.
Yeah?
Yeah, dude. That was fun. It was super fun. I was it came through on my Telegram, and I was like, what? I was like, I never watched these things. Anyway, so I was checking it out, and that was a wild group of good.
We don't have to defend much longer to achieve victory.
Oh man, I thought we were gonna win that one. We almost had that one.
This is where we defeat these rebels once and for all.
Okay, single point of failure though. This gets easier with a single point of failure. Alright, wow. That guy had nothing in him. Love it. Okay, here we go.
This is our final stand.
They are taking their time.
All they have, but we must hope.
Okay.
Whoa! Somebody let these guys in our backyard here. Ah.
You moved through the game for being idle for too long? It was idle for a minute and a half.
Oh man, I'm sorry. I should have warned you. I should have warned you to jiggle that thing. Hang on a sec. We're getting ready to either win or lose this, and then we'll be back. Just chill in that lobby for a minute, and then we'll be right back.
Yeah, I'm placed in the queue to join. Yeah, sorry, Bailey called me.
No, it's all good. It's all good.
And so I'm
1 year?
Yep.
Dude, you gotta. What's happening? You got any special plan bonuses?
Probably gonna get some food. Might go out with
Nice.
some of her work friends because they're
Love it.
doing some stuff tonight.
That's fun.
Got a gift for her. That was good.
That's cool. So you guys are like solid back together.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I love it.
Yep.
Very
yep.
cool. Dude, what were we talking about right before we were talking about? I don't
You were saying.
at all.
Wait, remember you saying? Oh man, you got some of those peaceful moments
Peaceful
of your
moments
life this week,
In
but then
of my life.
it, like went in a certain in another direction. I remember, and then I was like, oh, scattered.
All good. They have got us surrounded on this map. Surrounded.
Energy. Ba 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 ba
And
ba.
the world is made of energy. And the world. I got a new Jazz Cabbage interlude for when we kick into this next Jazz Cabbage situation.
Oh yeah.
It's got a new song on it that I made. The song is called Out for a Stroll. I realized you were asking me what I was doing, and what I was doing was right before I was trying to get a new Jazz Cabbage interlude rocking. That's why. Sorry everybody. That's why we started late today. I was rocking on the. I realized that I said that I would do it before. Yes, victory. Yes, victory.
Good job.
Nice. I realized I said I would do it before this one, and I was like, dude, do not fuck up on your word when it's in relation to Jazz Cabbage. This is just not the way to go through life, man. So anyway,
true.
that was half the story, but I'll get to the other half of the story. Okay, but before we do this, let's get on the same page. All right, so how are we gonna do? I'm gonna say, I think if I just say matchmaking, it brings you back in. Is that right? You know what? Just for fun, I'm gonna quit it and meet you in the lobby. Quitting. And let's see, I'm going to send out another invitation here to Sean and Deadpool. If you guys are out there and you hear the sound of our voices in this crazy tunnel, we're going to invite you here. Here comes a 3-minute Jazz Cabbage. We find ourselves on this deserted desert moon of Tatooine.
Tatooine.
What's up, Jazz Cabbage? What's going on? What's going on, man? What you doing? What are you doing? Wake up! There it is.
I was looking at the sky.
The spirit has possessed the body.
Yeah.
What's going on? Okay. So that story, that long ass story I was telling, it's all about focus. So I got out of work today at my normal time. Everything was rock chalking and jay hawking. I'm pretty good at managing my time, and it was like there were no surprises today, which was glorious because I was thinking there was going to be some. So anyway, I'm all squared away. I'm good. Everything is sweet. And then I glance at my inbox for some as I'm getting into my setup here, and lo and behold, I find an interesting little tidbit in there, an interesting little project.
A tidbit.
I look up and it's 2 hours later, and I'm like, almost 2 hours later, and I'm like, I've got to eat. I've got to do like 10 things before I get called Peter. Anyway, this is the problem with this excessively awesome Jazz Cabbage, is it totally spills over into my waking life. Like I am sober as a saint, and these mental focus enhancements are retained. It's crazy. It's crazy to me. Like, I don't know. I feel like I'm cheating.
Cheating. Yeah, he's I don't need
I feel like
that
I'm cheating, man.
Adderall.
No, that's the thing. Not at all. It's crazy. It's like almost side effect free, super focus. Ah, if the world only knew. Everyone should be in color. If the world only knew. Such a glorious situation to be hyper focused. Anyway.
Day.
Okay, so flow state. Hey, I just shot Reach, our buddy. What's up, Reach?
Oh man.
What's going on, Reach? Dude, it'd be so funny if you ever found these videos. We should start putting his name in the description of all these videos and just like call him out, like somehow find him. I bet there's some interface I can use to send a message to him on the PlayStation Network. This other one too, Yanza. He's always playing with this Yanza.
Allison Dalton.
Command post contested. I'll show you contested. I'll show you contested. Come on, you monkey junkers. Anyway, really, really happy feelings are associated with being focused. And like, anyway, this happiness that I've been feeling, like way more than I have in my life, I think it's related to the focus thing. I think it's related to focusing like a laser for like multiple hours without almost any effort. It's ridiculous.
Days.
Dude, I'm just talking up this one
Days over
cannabis
days.
shop. Dude, I should get on there. I haven't even mentioned their name, and that's just fine.
Yeah.
Have to be a Kansas, have to be a Colorado residente to imbibe.
Oh.
Boom!
When ya. Oh, it's so beautiful day.
Hey, I found this book and this accompanying documentary that I think you would really like, and you might have heard of. It's called The Princes of Yen, Y-E-N, and it's referring to the Japanese yen. Have you ever heard of this? You ever heard of this book? Or this movie? Okay, I was gonna upload it, but in the same time I did that, I actually made the Jazz Cabbage interlude. And I didn't promise the other one. I'm just promising to it to you now. I'm ahead of my situations. I will get you a copy of this thing. Okay. It is about central banks, and it is about post World War II Japan, when they were basically kind of a feudal society, and you know, as the story goes, the United States rebuilt Japan and Germany, and those became two of the most successful economies in the Western world, and just created enormous wealth for their populations, right? Okay, so what everybody, I'm just going to give you the background on it, because maybe this will whet your appetite for this situation.
So yen.
The yen, the princes of yen, like the guys who control the yen, okay? They
Japanese fiat money.
Yeah, Japanese fiat. Japan gets its own central bank. Japan gets its own Ministry of Finance. Technically, the Ministry of Finance is supposed to direct the bank in terms of, so it's the government, the Ministry of Finance, which is a elected office, telling the central bank, the Bank of Japan, what to do. And this is how they can use the bank to sculpt their policies and like make it all work, right? This is how they do it. Okay, there becomes some kind of
the money.
It's how they move the money. There becomes some kind of disconnect, and the disconnect results in the bank. No. There are these things called window guidance. Window guidance is when the central bank goes to the banks and says, lend this amount of money, lend this amount of money out, in this amount of time, and lend it out at this interest rate. So they set interest rates, and then they say how much money is going to get lent out. And this is called window guidance. All right, I've told you that twice now.
Window guidance.
Okay, yeah, window guidance. Yeah. So what ended up happening?
Some parameters.
In the what ends up happening apparently to all central banks is that they create bubbles. This is according to this guy's philosophy and theory. They create they create bubbles in the sense that they the banks overinvest in a certain area, meaning when companies come to them and say, hey, can we borrow some money, somebody has to sit down and go, is this a fucking good idea to lend for this industry or whatever? Like, the bank has to know something about what it's lending money to. And therefore, the bank, through its choices of who to lend to and who not to lend to, it gets to choose what gets developed. Because if you've got like a Tesla and you lend money to it, you get electric cars. But if you don't get electric cars. Make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, so these central banks have this just next level power over the society. And in Japan, they're coupled together. What we told the world was that Japan was a free market. Dude, it's a free market. It's just everybody out here in these streets making choices for themselves. But this process of the window guidance and the setting of the interest rate, like how much money you make and how much you lend it out at, those are, and where you lend it, that stuff is how you sculpt a society. It is centrally planned. You get to centrally plan your society, basically, if you just control that decision about what gets money, what doesn't get money, right? Like, I saw this up close and personal in 2008 when they bailed out the banks, and it was infuriating that the evidence on day one in 2008 was that these banks were taking enormous risks. They were fucking around with the whole globe, and we were going to reward them by not closing them down. I'm like, close them the fuck down. People will still need lemonade tomorrow. Don't worry, everything's going to work out if we recycle this whole generation of bankers and make these fuckers pariahs, right? That's where my head was in 2008. Mm-hmm. And Obama was in office. So it was like, yeah, Obama was in office. Obama was coming into office. And it was like, dude, we're going to get this reformed. But on his way out, George Bush kind of shat the bed on the whole thing. And Obama gave him everything. Obama gave him the bankers everything. No one went to jail. No one got held accountable. No one even lost their job in a lot of cases. It was just like, it was the most ridiculous, like, guilt-free bailout ever. And these guys, these guys were, next level fuck-ups in terms of they robbed the cradle. And they fucked up the entire global economy. People died over that shit. And they can't even be bothered to put anyone in jail?
People in other countries died over that shit.
Yeah.
A lot of people.
A lot, and it goes on. The ripple effects would never, only God would know at like the exact level of bullshit that came out of all of that, you know? And come on, we got to capture this thing, and we're in some serious OT. We're gonna go out here. We're going forward. Are we in the same level? Are we in the same map?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh god, did we just lose it?
No.
Okay. Recycling. Okay, I'm with you. Oh, dude, you're boss. That is awesome. You're a tank. Dude, nice job finishing it out there. Okay, central banks. So, the central bank just gets to create the money, because it just says, here you go. Here's money. It makes it out of thin air. It makes out of thin fucking air, but then it's where it invests it. That is the primary lever of a society, if you think about it. And this had not occurred to me very clearly before. But like, this documentary opened my eyes to this. It's like, that is how an entire society gets good roads or no roads. You know? Just like, where does this money end up going? Like, when the government bails out shit, what are they bailing out? Like, are they bailing out stuff we want to exist? Or are we bailing out stuff because, like, you know, these guys went to school together? That kind of shit. It's like, it's a lot of the latter. It's way more of the latter than you would hope in a society that you live in and you pour your life and soul and your heart into, you know? God, I'm just out here, like, I'm like out here Mr. Assassin. Next level mind fucking these guys. They can't get out there. They can't get off their respawn. I'm not even trying to take. I don't even know what I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just out here in these streets. Let's do it.
Yeah,
Fuck you guys. Woohoo! This is fun. It's fun to beat up a group of digital humans, knowing that no one gets hurt.
Night.
Just like run up on their stuff and take it. It's fun. I don't care what everybody says. It's super fun. Alright, we should just lean into it. We should just lean into it. That's what we should do as a society. Okay, central banks. Alright, so here's what happened. When I was a kid, in the 80s...
Centralized, go ahead. Well, no, that type of centralized control on money is kind of dangerous.
It's all there is in this world. Is the there's America has a central bank, the UK has a central bank, and Europe has a central bank, and then it's a long list before you get to something that is it's crazy. It's crazy how powerful the banking piece is. Okay, so anyway, the people who run the the Fed it's a completely private organization. They have no scrutiny. They have no influence, apparently. They're supposed to be an independent central bank. And being an independent central bank means that they can do whatever they want. Right now, they're bumping up interest rates because they're saying they want us in a recession. They want to counteract all the any kind of social gains that have been made by, there were some positive things that came out of the pandemic in terms of changes in kind of worker behavior and there's been more unionization and like a bunch of things. Yeah, more organization.
But because of what the central bank did in COVID, they printed
trillions, 6.5 trillion or something.
Over a third of the money supply.
Yeah.
So they inflated the currency by a quarter to a third. And they're trying to raise interest rates to curb the inflation.
Curb the use of this money.
Curb the inflation. Well, and exploit that inflation.
And a lot of people say that the inflation, and this is Sagar and Crystalline Sagar from Breaking Points I'm speaking on down here. Whoa! I've never seen that before. That guy got thrown off the map. I bet that did not feel good when he landed. Okay, you're right. They printed a third of the money. Okay, this is horrible. It's horrible that why are we living in a society where we can make our own script? We can make our own money.
Who gets to make that type of
why is it private? Why isn't it accountable to the people? As a people, why don't we have our own money instead of giving it away to private? Why is that? Like, why is that a good idea?
We had no choices during COVID. Like, it was go get some vaccines. We're gonna clamp down on your ability to communicate with each other. We're gonna censor the shit out of you like we haven't for. There's only certain people who are allowed to be medical professionals, and we're going to print a third of the money supply, all at the same time. And it's like, wait, who are you? What?
Yeah, why are you in charge of me?
That's a massive decision. Yeah, why are you in charge of? How does those decisions get made?
What's your responsibility? If you're saying you're my leader and you get to make the laws, what does that mean for you? Is that just all benefit for you, or do you actually have to do something?
Accountability here.
Exactly. Yeah, it's crazy how the corruption is political corruption. They just aren't. They aren't accountable. It's hard to hold them accountable. We're getting ready to vote in Colorado, and I am so looking forward to exercising my right to ream some fuckers. I'm reading every. I am a highly informed voter, and if you make a bad vote, sometimes you just go with the flow. Fuck you. You're out of here. Like, stand for something, you fucks. You can't be our leaders if you don't stand for something. Like, it's just no. Like, we don't have to accept that. We don't have to accept that we're like indentured servants to somebody's political fiefdom. You know? Like,
Yeah,
what's that all about?
Bump that.
And I don't even think it's a debate as to whether or not our political system is unresponsive. I don't think anybody thinks it is. Like, what's the percentage of Americans that love their political system? It's like 3% or something. You know, it's
something gnarly like that.
Something gnarly. I'm beating up Ewoks back here. This should be illegal. I love it. Did you see me beat the shit out of that Ewok?
No.
I'm getting up on top of this thing. There's a ladder. That's how they get up here. I wondered how the non-flying units got up here. There's a ladder. You can stand on top of this thing in the middle of this. Where are they? Where are they? Luke Skywalker. Oh shit. That Wookiee tried to save Han Solo. Those two humans, though they were on point. That Wookiee threw himself in front of Han Solo like a giant Doberman German Shepherd Retriever. That was sweet, man. And that's what Chewie would have done to Han Solo. That was awesome. We're all of life is a stage, and we are all actors upon it, man. Starting with this fuck right here. Why don't you act dead?
Right here. Good night. Wow.
Start acting dead. Start acting dead.
Got wrecked by a bot.
All right, Spider Ninja 24. Let's see a little of that ninja and that spider action in concert. Let's go. Let's fucking go. We take their shit and we tear off their arms and beat them to death with their own arms.
Spooky. Came in hard. Pushed me into
Fabian 14 hyped out here in these streets, Darth Maul. Fabian 14. Does that mean he made his account when he was 14, or he's just like likes the number 14?
Or 2014. Nope, too early.
2014. 2014. Right, that human would be. Who knows? Oh, you're right. 2014. Totally. That's it. I don't know. You never know. Here's the cool part. Dude, we should get more deeply into some VR together. I think have you ever been tempted by the siren song that is virtual reality? It's kind of fun to hang out in there. It's fun to run around.
Really.
You go to
yeah. I kind of grew up with the mindset that makes me like numb to cool technology sometimes.
Say that all again. Say that again.
I kind of grew up with a mindset that makes me numb to cool technology sometimes.
Oh, I see.
I feel like
I stopped my VR intake right as COVID hit. I had been. Oh, did we get defeated? Oh, but dude,
slapped.
we pushed through several super strenuous situations there, and quite frankly, that was amazing. That was a good fight. We were like an OT, like on every single map.
Right.
Next level.
34.
Right. Nice. How many death events you got? Oh, 131.
101.
That's a lot, dude. You're breaking the centennial. Let's activate the jazz cabbage. Engage! Dude, I totally forgot that I could just turn that thing off when I wanted to.
Oh. Right.
Yes, can be turned off. Okay, so central banks and the princes of yen. All right, so central banks. We've established what these are. We've established that they're secretive. Here's a couple facts for you. Did you know how the European Union, you know how they're kind of like, they've got low levels of corruption and like they're pretty cool in terms of like, I don't know, they seem like their society is a little more oiled from a social dynamic. In fact, it is. It totally is. It's just a more ordered society. Their politicians are more responsive. They have real politicians, like people who actually want to like serve the public interest instead of their own financial gain by being in office, right? Being in office isn't a career path. It's like a service path, right? Like that kind of shit. Okay.
That'd be nice.
Yeah, fuck yeah, it'd be nice. It'd be super nice. All right. So here's the situation. In Europe, their central bank, the ECB, the European Central Bank, it is written into law that no one can ever see any of their notes or any of their anything, ever. You can't look into their stuff at all. And it's a complete black box. And it's privately owned. Is this not the craziest shit you've ever heard? This is touted as a great thing. This independent central bank. It's like, oh, it's independent. It's like, what does that mean? Does that just mean that like only certain people can decide who you lend money to? And the answer to that question is fucking yes, it is. That's exactly what it is. Dude,
and there's no transparency.
And there's no by law there is no transparency. Like, and so all in Europe, the place where they have done the best to roll back all of their corrupt impulses and such in terms of in their political system, or they're doing better than we're doing in terms of corruption. You can just buy laws in these streets. I mean, it's crazy. Anyway, inside of the in Europe, their central bank is that opaque. Can you believe that? And it's like it's touted as like a great idea, like a really good thing. Like, it's really a good thing to have these things be totally fucking super secret. And it's like, give me a break. What are you talking about? What human institution flourishes in secrecy? Like, yeah, like, show what's the other example of that? That's where all the problems come from. But it's like, oh no, it's anyway, this documentary says a lot about how it's in the financial humans' interests to basically tell everybody that, dude, we're just getting like rolled back. All right,
Yeah,
we're getting lit up.
yeah.
Take personal responsibility. Let's fucking go.
You gotta do. Yeah, we gotta make data societies.
I just got reach. I just found him in the bushes randomly and like.
Information societies.
Okay, so check this out. So there's all these examples of central bank malfeasance in this. Luke Skywalker is right on A. He's right there, but you probably know. Here he comes. Okay, Darth Vader, I got your 6. Let's freaking go, dude. Hold him up. Let me shoot these fucks for you. Bang, bang, bang. Okay, when I was a kid in the 80s, Japan was this mysterious and cool place, but also very weird, because we were in an economic war with Japan in the 80s. You ever see the Michael Crichton movie Rising Sun with Wesley Snipes and Sean Connery?
No.
It's fucking good. It's based on the Michael Crichton novel, I think I mentioned. Anyway, I think we'll add this. I'll add this to the library as well. And then you got to tell me about Neverending Story. Did you watch Neverending Story?
Yeah.
Well, okay, let's fucking shelf my.
Bailey, like one of her, she watched that movie a ton with like on repeat when she was a kid.
Yeah, it's a magical movie.
Never came up.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so you saw this movie. What'd you think of this movie?
Saw it last week.
Aside from it being made in the 80s with no special effects.
Yeah,
Because it looks remarkably
rocking
different
a
than
lot
movies
of-
now, right?
Yeah, they're rocking strong archetypes and clean art story, like simple hero's journey story art.
Exactly. Unrefined,
Solid,
raw,
clean story.
like a hero, not a hero in not 6 hero stories bundled up in one. You know,
Right.
just one sweet hero story.
One hero in 2 different worlds.
That's it. Crosses into another world, it meets friends, crosses into another world, finds value in the other world, dies, is reborn, knows the secrets after the rebirth, and then comes back into our world and tries to reintegrate back into society.
Society.
Which is the hardest part. Most people don't want to come back. Once they get there, they don't want to leave. They're like, this is better, I'm staying.
Your time has not come.
I had a friend.
Oh man.
I had a friend that I knew for years, and she died a couple years ago. And when she died, I had a meditation, where I had a meditative experience where I was with her, and she said some of the funniest shit. This is the my meditative experience with this cool human Patricia was very brief, but my wife's was really cool. And she saw her in a field of flowers, and she was trying to explain. She's like, "Hey, you know, you're gonna die. Your body's like almost out of here. If you don't come back, this isn't gonna work out, you know." And she was like, "Dude, I am so much happier here. Like I am so much I am next level content. Why would I ever want to go back to all the pain of the place I was just in?" Anyway, she was kind of sick at the end, but the what I like about that is that not only a lot of times is death not a problem, sometimes it feels better than what's going down in your body, you know?
Yeah.
For her it was a straight up relief. Like if you interpret these meditative experiences as having some level of validity, but that's the thing. It's like this was exactly in keeping in character with my friend, who I'd known for years. We were ministers together in that religious order I was in for a while. Dude, this is a great place to hang out and shoot people.
Yeah.
I'm way the heck. I'm too high up to contest.
Whoa.
Got to get down lower to start contesting.
Yoda hopped up here and killed me.
I just
very
gave
quickly. Damn it.
I just roughhouse Princess Leia. That player was like, "What the
Stay
fuck?
back.
Why is it?" Holy smokes! Okay, that's awesome. Neverending Story is a great movie. It's very good.
Yeah, very good.
What'd you think of The Nothing?
The Nothing.
It just says losing over this. Yeah, the Nothing is what got us into it last week. We were talking about the creative void that is the Nothing, like
the
creeping
graphic,
in.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think they were talking about when they were talking about the Nothing? What was the Nothing? Like for reals, what was the Nothing? Oh, man, we were getting pushed back on every one of those levels, but boy, did we put up a great fight. Woo!
The Nothing.
Tell me about.
I think the Nothing was. Oh man, I haven't thought about. I've thought about so much between the scenes now and then. But yeah, it was the
hard
storm
to hit
that
rewind.
was like creeping in,
right,
and eating the second world.
It was destroying the creatures and the life and the nature and the whole there
like
there
fear.
of the place. It was like fear.
Maybe.
Yeah, totally fear. 100%. Fear
the
and the vision goes
to,
away.
Throw
and then with people in fear.
Towards the vision, yeah.
Towards the vision, the light, the love, the peace.
The hope.
The hope. You gotta ride magical, flying, crazy, intelligent, wise worm dragons.
Yeah, weird
Falcor.
stuff.
Well,
Yeah.
you know that when that movie came out when I was a kid, it was so dope that they were like, reading is fucking rad. There wasn't that many reading or fucking rad books or movies back then, but the idea that you could go into another world, that was my experience. Books are like next
Yeah.
level in terms of taking you places. Like there's no movie that can paint a scene like you can do in your imagination if you like really let it happen. In my
Right.
view.
Chill out, feel it
Yeah,
out.
you're like in another place. It's like teleporting, time traveling books. That's why they have to burn them and ban them, and it's a real problem that people make them and distribute them, distribute that information. I love this level. Let's go do this.
The rebels are preparing an assault.
Distributing information
Distributing information.
is good.
When,
It's hard.
okay, back to my Japan story. When I was a kid, Japan had this insane next level recession, and it made no sense. It was like, why the fuck would Japan, who makes the coolest shit, I'm talking VCRs, camcorders, they were making, they had the intellectual property, no matter where they physically produced them, they had the IP on some of the coolest shit, and they had some next level tech, and Japan was all right in my book. They were like they were kind of cool. And
Yeah.
but they were in this crazy recession where all these people were jumping out of buildings, and like I forget what percentage. It was like half of, or it couldn't have been half of all young men, but it was some nuts level of young men had no jobs and no prospects. And I'm like, it made no sense to me in the 80s. This documentary described what actually happened and gave an explanation that like made sense to me for the first time. I was like, oh god. Okay, so here's what happened. The central bank, who can decide who to lend money to, decided not to lend any money until there was structural change. And structural change meant political change. So what you had was your Bank of Japan, going rogue and not printing money that the Ministry of Finance was telling it to, the government. So it was in a quote independent bank, and it was not able to Jiminy Christmas, where are we? Alright. Yeah, they couldn't. So anyway, the people in the society were suffering, and their economy was languishing because they wouldn't make any new money, and all they had to do was just print money. That's just like lend money out at a reasonable rate, whatever reasonable is, whatever. They could even have lent it out at the no rate. They could have done anything they wanted to, but they weren't doing it, and they weren't making the changes that they needed to make. I hope I understand this theory right. I just watched this
printing money.
Yeah, they were not lending money.
They were not lending. Well, there's a difference between printing money and lending.
Okay, but like if you go to a bank today,
you can sell bonds, which is
a debt for a society. Yeah.
Which is, yeah.
A promise to pay you, and you pay back a bond. So if somebody buys a bond that lasts 10 years, in 10 years you can go and take that piece of paper, that bond, and you can cash it in for the money you paid plus a little more, and you hope it keeps up with inflation. The bonds, you hope you don't lose money on that deal. That money is worth less than when you bought it. Sorry, did I cut you off?
No.
Were you gonna say something about that?
No.
Okay, no worries. Okay, so. But what was... Okay, so all they would have had to have done, according to this documentary, was just... Okay, so like if you go to a bank today, right, and you take out a loan for $10,000, and they give you that loan on the spot for whatever reason. If you do that today, did we hold these guys off? Are we holding these guys off? We're totally holding these guys off. This is nice. Squad wipe. Why are we out here? We're never out here. This is awesome.
We're holding him back.
Okay, so if you went to the bank today and they gave you $10,000, they don't have to do anything to get that $10,000. they go to the Federal Reserve and say, I need $10,000. The Federal Reserve has nothing to do other than to say, here you go, and they press a button on a spreadsheet, and the money is in the bank's hands. This is what making money is. Money means nothing at that level, right? It's not a thing. I'm just gonna chase these guys over here for the fuck of it. Here we go. Nerds, got him. I got these guys on the right side. They're over by B. They're trying to rush B, but from the back. Sorry, I said that loud. Okay, you're on A. I think these guys. Where is it? Okay, they're on. I don't know where they are. You guys are on B. Whoa. There's Han Solo in there in that very small area. Okay, they're on A. They got A. We gotta go get A. Dear Lord, how does it work? How does this work? I played this level so long ago. Alright. Toss a grenade into this little hot place. Come on, you nerd! Ah, I tossed my grenade too early. Wha-boom! That would have been nice in this little closed environment in here. Surprisingly easy to clear the room. Reincarnation, getting a second wave out of thin air. Alright. Cool. Okay, so the $10,000 comes out of thin air, right? And the interest rate is the what's it called? The Fed rate? That's the rate at which money gets made. So they might have 0%, meaning you can take as much money out of the Fed, you can print as much money as you want, and then you lend it out, and they give guidance on the lending, on like the percentage, right? And then the bank is allowed to charge extra. So for that $10,000, they might charge you a 6% fee, and you got to think about what work has been done here to give you the thing that you need to run your society with, right? So this gets me thinking: what if we had a human right of being able to exchange value? It's a human right to exchange value, meaning that you shouldn't just be stuck in one model of it. You should have the right to do it, and maybe even the right to have a market of it. But here's the problem: societies are built off the ability and the right to make that money, to make that just 6% just cause. That's what. But who's taking those profits? Who's making that money? You know, it's a private institution. It's not us, the people, that are making this money off of this thing.
It's a bureaucracy.
It's a bureaucracy, and it's a racket. It was Henry Ford that said that if the American people knew the nature and the extent of the Fed's influence or something like that, there would be open riots on the streets of America tomorrow morning. And I'm like, dude, this documentary, Princes of Yin, this book, it's next level crazy when you step back and think about it. Because what it basically means is we are all, if they have the right to make money only, we are all stuck in their game, and they're unaccountable to us. That is undemocratic. That is not democracy. And I don't know how the Europeans are doing it. They're probably forced to do it because we do it. Our bank conspires to keep theirs, whatever. It's like, the dollar is the reserve currency. It's a global game. Which, guess what that means, man? The bankers already won. All these wars and shit, this is not for, they're not fighting over anything useful. If it's the money, it's the ability to pull the majorest lever of society. That's the real jazz. There's nothing. Value there's no second game being played.
No.
It's like it's all downstream from there. Oh, we got it. We got this. Oh, somebody just got B. God bless.
I'll tap out in 15, 20 minutes.
He makes sense to me.
Probably 15.
This is totally cool, man. This is your anniversary. That's crazy that you are hanging out at all.
Well,
I love it.
still, she's still working. So, well, she's off
awesome.
now, but she's.
This is your time.
Yeah.
Return to
The
objective.
rebels are
Dear
renewing their
God.
attack. We must now defend these positions.
I just got.
Lord Vader is here. Redouble your efforts.
I'm gonna see what that grenade does. I got a grenade off. It's kind of fun to just like dive into them and like drop a grenade and you know they're gonna kill you, but that grenade's gonna get them. It's awesome. All right, let's go, Chewbacca. Nice. Got an assist with you on that one. Okay, they're taking A. It's a problem. Okay, so in the 80s, so anyway, the central bank caused the recession in Japan in the 80s. And all the bank had to do was lend money, and it didn't do it. And the reason why it didn't do it is because it wanted structural changes. And structural changes basically meant that the bankers, who have this enormous power, and this enormous, I don't even know what to call it, I guess it's privilege, but just like, who gave you the right to make the money that everybody else uses and charge a percentage? Like, what? Like, what, you know, it's just like, that's nuts that that's not something that's in the people's hands, you know? But anyway,
Yeah.
I mean that's just fucking wrong. Maybe it's working slightly, but how much better could it work? You know, and be, you know, there's just to say there's not in like all the power in the hands of the people with the money you're just wrong. Like that's crazy. I mean, there's different kinds of power in the world, but like in general, that is how you control societies, and they know that, and that's why they've been consolidating banks. It gets into this whole thing about how the central banks basically how they consolidate. So it's a non-distributed financial model that affects the lives of billions of people. And the idea that those billions of people can't figure out how to get that power, you know, a little better distributed so it's not this insanely small number of people making these decisions. Like, haven't we all agreed in the age of the internet that it's better to have information, it's better to do stuff out in the open, and it's better to have a few great minds on something rather than just one in most cases, especially when it comes to issues that affect so many people? Like,
when it affects so many people, you have to have so many more people.
you should have so much that power. You should have the ability to have that power in the direct relationship to how openly you can do it and how lack of corruption you can do it, you know? Like, you should anyway. You know what it was Martin Luther King. If you make peaceful revolution impossible, you make violent revolution inevitable. Isn't that just the truth? Like, if you box people in and they're like, hey man, we're tired of being boxed in, and you're like, yeah, that's right, and like you won't give it up, like that's insane. Like you're just asking for trouble, right? Like, it's a war, it's a fight, but like, I don't know. It's so sad to me to see all these tools of the internet, all these tools of mass communication being deployed for the maintenance of that power. You know, the maintenance of that control, the old order of control. It's like, we need to get faster. Like, we should be very fast and very effective in the way we operate our governance. Now, I know this is right up your alley.
Yeah, it is right up my alley. It's interesting, like, yeah, to hear you monologue on it. Because this is like internal
Dialogue.
discussion for arc over like 2 years.
I know. Dude, anyway, you're gonna love this. You're gonna love this documentary. We should talk about it when you've seen it. Okay, so what does this mean? It means that absolute power corrupts absolutely, and these people who are running a bank, who should be just fine running a bank, and should try to figure out how to make that a good thing for the society they live in. You'd fucking hope with your fingers crossed, but you'd have no way to influence it because there's no votes, and there's no accountability, and you can't see any of their records, and you have no idea how corrupt it is. You have no idea how to keep it straight. And because it's private. And that's what's so nuts about it. It's like, whoa, I'm all for private ownership of stuff, but the monetary system? Does that mean we could sell it? We should sell it. We should get a few crooks together and be like, which one of you crooks is going to give us the best deal? That would at least be a fucking market for the sale of this thing.
We can yank them in and out from under you if you don't.
Yeah.
act accordingly, but you can make good money there, but you have to like pay to play. Maybe that's interesting.
Yeah, you know what's crazy is we should have cryptocurrency has the ability to break this, and that's why all these crypto people have this wild look in their eye, because they know that what they're doing is like straight up revolutionary.
Blockchains are currencies are nation building machines. So
Exactly.
if a blockchain is
a way to ledger that so it doesn't
money
to keep track of it. It's just to make sure nobody can fucking lie about what they're doing.
Yeah.
You can't. You have to tell the truth. You have to. It's math will catch you if you don't.
Oh, it's not ran away.
You know, if people just had more virtue, if we lived in a more virtuous society where people actually like loved and respected the truth, you wouldn't have to implement a ledger-based technology to keep people accountable. But I really like the idea of people being accountable, because if you have accountability, you have peace.
You need it because there's still too much to track for anybody to track. I think we're doing too complex stuff now. We've like evolved past being able to not have technology like this. Doing too much of this stuff. Like, why was the first currency and ledgers created? Oh, to store how much grain Phil brought.
Yeah.
So he wasn't eating Xander's food, you know?
It can't be like they were solving the freeloader problem with language.
Yeah.
Like at the very root of communication. And, okay, so if communication is free and it's loose, it does solve the freeloader problem. It does solve corruption. If you have free speech and you had a protected, awesome press, you could actually get the truth, and then you could make things work well. And anybody who doesn't want that to happen, wants the status quo, they don't want to evolve. They want to change. That's crazy. It's crazy you think you can hold still and hang on to it. All that old structure of power in this time. That is just crazy. Is that victory? Please,
right,
God.
That's a victory.
Holy shit, did we have to work for that one. Anyway. Yeah.
We did.
Dude, I wanted to talk to you about my NFT store and if I should put it on the Catalyst chain or not.
On the Cardano?
Cardano chain, yeah. Sorry, those both start with C.
First.
You were number one?
You were.
Oh shit, that's cool. I had 186. No. We're talking about 16, carry the 1.
73.
186.
No,
186. We beat the shit out of those guys.
You did.
That was awesome.
Like,
dude, is this a good place to end? Or do you have time for one more? Or what do you want to do?
I have time for one more.
Dude, then let's jazz cabbage the fuck out of this thing and let's do it. Fast.
Alright.
Let's do it. I love this level.
We'll continue the assault as
I love this level.
So you're gonna put your NFT project on Cardano, huh?
Well, I get it. I have to choose. I have to put my NFT store on one of these chains out here in these streets, and I could put it on Cardano. And I thought that'd be a great idea because that would give us, you know, all about the Cardano. And I thought if there was any advantages to that, you would understand them, and I could quiz you on them.
Oh, yeah.
But I'm just early days. I have my wallet and everything. I got that all figured out. Everybody says I'm crazy
you
to
can
like.
mint in a lot of places.
This software. That software you turned me on to has a free mint built in, I believe. This is my hope, because I want to mint like 1,000 individual images for my first set.
Yeah, well, I can set you up and you can get it minted. The set, and then you can put them wherever you want. You would want to put them on.
What do you mean? Wait, what do you mean?
Have your own. If you wanted to have your own marketplace, you could do it like that. But if you just wanted to sell the collection and see if you could actually make money, you would want to put it on a marketplace that gets more traffic than like just having your own. Potentially.
Oh, I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying. You mean to like put it on the common market?
More common market. Because what that okay, so with that picture that you were looking at, that
it would be like me opening a website versus me becoming an Amazon, seller or something like that.
And I don't know. I don't exactly remember what that site does. Like whether it mints
it does. It's
demand,
awesome. I think at the end of the day, you just have to make a wallet transaction. Yeah, it can mint on demand. Do a free mint. Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
And
but
you could.
It has like five. It's like it has 4 or 5 different chains, and they all work differently. So when you talk about like minting on, like.
I'm thinking Polygon. Polygon's a nice balance of it's not Ethereum expensive, but it's Ethereum adjacent, and so that's kind of cool. I like Polygon, and I didn't know if Cardano had the traffic. Is my root cause situation. Because I think it's also about isn't it also about isn't the hardest part of the transaction just having the wallet and like the money already in it? I think if someone had to like create a wallet from the ground up to buy my shit because I put it on some strange chain, right? That'd be a pain in the ass. I think one of the things this store does is it lets you put the same collection on multiple chains, and it's just like out of the box can do that. So I think it can take care of some of that stuff.
I don't know if we can put the same collection on multiple chains.
I thought I read a poorly translated piece of Japanese that did say that. All their stuff is translated, and you can tell it's like it's the most simple English. You know when you read like a instruction manual from a toaster you bought at Walmart, you know it was invented and made in China. And the language is like totally non-English native, like ES3, not ESL. Like it's not English as a second language. It's like English is like a fourth language. Anyway, I didn't mean to put you on the spot or like put you through a quiz situation.
No,
but
I'm ready for a quiz. We just. Dude,
I think I'm gonna try to do it both ways. I think what I would like to do is I would like to do Cardano for the culture,
and
I would like to do Polygon for the ease of gas fees for the people that'd be buying them. I think Polygon's a nice middle road. It's not that Ethereum like L1 blockchain, but they say that shit's gonna change. Aren't they going through some Ethereum upgrade that they've been like planning for years? I dropped out of the news.
Well,
the ethereal
it's a
news.
Massive bear market right now. Okay.
Massive bear market. Yeah, don't be buying.
So it might be good to build collections and sit on them and wait for the next bull market.
Oh, I get it.
When
when
the buyers come, like this is something that's likely to be like next summer type time. Unless everyone's poor because they printed too much money.
I hear you.
In which case, the bull market, the crypto bull market, might come sooner. Got him.
Dude, he just held up their whole squad and we shot him. That was unbelievably good teamwork. Was that you? Hold on, I'm reincarnating. Your boss. That's awesome. They are all hands on A over there. Gonna get back on A, back on A. We're capping, we're capping. I love this map. I love this map! Okay. That's awesome. Thanks for that. Did you hear that Elon Musk took possession of Twitter today?
Yeah.
Isn't that cool? We might get some First Amendment communications. And as we know, when you start talking about stuff, things start getting revealed. And I know Elon Musk loves the truth, because if you're building Teslas, you know, and launching rockets, you know a little bit about the truth. Because you know, it's physics is the one set of rules that actually fucking matters.
To reality.
The reality.
I like that there's a few engineers really winning.
I hope he fires most of these humans, and the reason I hope that is because they sent a letter, and in this letter they said, hey man, we demand that our leaders and the new owners respect our rights to have different political views, man. And it's like, are you saying that you've been exercising your political views at work? Like, is that what you're saying? Because that's what it sounds like you're fucking saying. And if you've been doing that, and you've been putting your finger on the scale, and now you're worried about somebody else putting their finger on the scale, the only thing I want is to break this fucking scale. Like, what, like, why, right. Like, anyway, if Elon Musk makes it First Amendment...
I want to use you to break it.
Yeah, he could make a place where democracy works. If everybody gets a voice, and the algorithm isn't fucking weighing it one way or another, you could have a democracy, an informed democracy. But it's all the censorship and the people in power like pulling in the favors to block the information flow because these, you know, tragically ineffective voting cycles that we go through. What actually fucking changes, you know? It's insane now.
Why do you
it's like a huge percentage of people do not want to... I voted in every election.
Two obstacles.
It's called monopoly. It's called concentration of power. It's a monoculture. It's the same talking points from a different angle. I mean, yeah, there are differences, and there's going to be policy differences, but, you know, the Democrats are so pro-war. Where's my anti-war party, guys? Like, I'm with those people. Like, I don't think we should blow the shit out of everybody. Like, fuck that. Like, if I'm voting for what our action is, I vote for someone who's in charge of the military who doesn't blow that stuff for stupid reasons, you know? That's what I'm into. I hate that with it that they can conscript humans, but I also love so many veterans. I have relatives that are veterans. But the
warriors are good.
The Rebel Alliance will not give in so easily. Expect them to defend this area to the last.
And should be protected from bullshit and nonsense. Because there's some fucking bullshit and nonsense out here in these streets. Take that, you little fuck!
Crush them and victory shall be ours.
Dude, there's a little piece of chicken flying around. That was, for a second there, I thought it was Yoda, and I was like, dude, his death cycle is the worst. He looks like a dead piece of chicken, but it was just dead chicken. Or whatever varmint that they are crucifying on this here world. I think, dude, I'm very excited about how Twitter's going to change for the positive, and knowing Elon Musk, he'll want to do it fast and awesome. And dude, I love that, like, what is going to be the win state of Twitter? Probably lots of people using it. If you made it open and First Amendment, can you imagine if Elon Musk gave the First Amendment to the whole world through Twitter? and just did every fucking thing he could to like load it up on Starlink satellites and was like, here's where the world can talk. You can have a fair conversation anywhere in the world. Do you know how many people would think that was the fucking best thing ever, who live in these crazy parts of the world where they have no protected speech? You know, crazy places like Canada. No one has that sweet, sweet First Amendment like we do. No one's got it. We should leverage the fuck out of that thing.
Han Solo killed me.
Take that, Shinobi. Out here beating down Ewoks. Look at his friends. I probably roused his friends. His friends were like, fuck this nerd. He's out here killing our Ewoks. Get him, guys! That's what happened.
366.
366. 366. 366, that's, each of those sixes has 2 3s in it. So really what you're saying is 3 3 3 3 3 3 or 5 3s. It's like a 5-3 pentagram if I'm keeping this all straight in my mind. I'm following you wherever you're going.
I'm gonna get into this battle.
Dude, how would you rate your performance today? Would you say would you say this is like your top 3 all-time badass awesome performances today? Neither would I. I feel like I am swinging for the fences and I'm missing everything. There is a mob. Oh, you were saying the time. I see. There's no way you can say that because there's no 2 6s. What am I? Oh, God damn it! I'm in some weird bardo. Dude. I'm in some weird bardo. I got 10,000 battle points.
Right now?
I got 10,000 battle points in like 6 seconds. It was nuts. The best hero is that one. Dude, the hero classes, they're hard to play and they're weird. And each one has these weird, you know, dude, just give me this assault trooper. I like to get myself involved in some assault with my assault trooper. Just assaulted Devin Krishnini here. Oh, Princess Leia out here in these streets. It's so weird that in this game you can like hit women. It just seems so weird. In real life, you'd just like be like, hey man, get out of here. Or something. Be like, don't be there. Find another way to do this.
Yeah, get down.
But what you wouldn't do is start punching her if you ran into Princess Leia in real life.
If you're in war though.
Yeah, this is at this point everybody is like PTSD to the nines. If this is how they're actually behaving, if these characters, if you ran into a princess, you'd probably let her go, right? Even if she was like an evil princess, well, I don't know. You tell me. Are we killing evil princesses out here in these streets? What are we doing? I'm not saying we shouldn't. Maybe that's the way to handle these situations, but I don't think so, right?
Yeah. Depends on how much.
Princesses are kind of cool. Usually they've had an awesome education. They've had lots of like high-level tutors. If the king or queen or whatever, however she became a princess, if like they had any kind of money, they probably patronized the arts. So that, you know, instead of taking like an art class, she's like learning from like, you know, Leonardo da Vinci on his off hours where he needs to like make some scratch. But whatever.
Leonardo da Vinci.
So
just
I think a lot of
some private tutoring.
Doing some private tutoring in between these Sistine Chapel gigs, etc. But anyway, the holy smoke, that's an AI, dude. That's an AI. That's so weird that he was so sneaky like that.
Wow, I walked out, took a grenade, didn't even touch the field.
I can't even fucking believe how much death there is around me. We didn't take this thing, man. We did not take this thing.
Oh, we did not.
We tried. We tried hard. We got a third of it done. All good. Hate to go out on an L, but Vems. Watch this. I'm going to throw this grenade straight up in the air. And watch this. Time's up, but watch. It's like an extra bomb grenade. It comes down, and then later, give it a sec, whack! There it is. You can make actions, but then your actions don't mean anything after that
Don't mean
last
anything post haste.
when
Alright.
the post haste. Dude, have a fantastic freaking anniversary and have a fantastic weekend. Give Bailey a hug from the Squeets and I.
Will do.
Dude, I was thinking one of the games we could. I will. Hey, you gotta drop out of your situation there. I'm just gonna. What I like to do is just pull the power it off. What was I saying? Oh, those games we were looking at, like alternative game situations. You know what I'm thinking? You ever played? You know what we could just get crazy and do? You ever played GTA or Grand Theft Auto? It's like next level decadent.
I think I have.
And I also have to tell you about that documentary. Okay, so I haven't either. I haven't played GTA since GTA 2 came out. And when GTA 2 came out, I was like, this is so hyper realistic, it's gonna fuck up society. I can't imagine what like the GTA like 6 that you can get into now is like, or 5 or whatever it is.
Yeah.
But it's like all you do is crimes. I don't know. Could you handle that? I don't think I could. Like, hey man, go rob this guy. It seems like it's a little.
We'd have to think of we'd have to do like challenges. You know,
maybe we
it's
could do
open
funny.
world.
It's open world. Exactly.
It's not. You don't have to play the story mode.
You can just go get. Do you think you could
do gang-related shit?
Gang-related shit. Fuck. I think it's like there's enough pain and suffering in my world, like that I'm not directly connected to, but I feel like the news I take in has enough craziness going on where I'm like, do I want to add a whole fictitious level of societal decay? I don't know.
Yeah. I'm not interested in it, but there's cool things to do, like there's all sorts of little missions to do, and like shit. It's just an open world, so you can try and like fly a plane.
Yeah.
You know, like, but side story, gotta steal the plane.
Side story, gotta steal the plane. Side story, gotta sell the drugs to get the money to get the guns to steal the plane. Like,
no, just start at steal.
I don't know, man. I don't know. I pulled the plug on VR when the COVID hit because I saw the world closing, and I was like, this is not the time to retreat into a second world because it'd be too easy. I was like, stay with this world. Stay with this world.
Yeah.
But anyway, I think it's insanely fun to be in a place where you have a physical presence, and there's a bunch of other people that have physical presence. I need to get back into it just for the dancing. There's great dancing in VR. It's a great use for it because you can mute the. I would go to raves in VR where you'd mute the crowd's ability to talk to you. So one of the most annoying things that happens when you're dancing in real life is people come up to you and they want to like talk to you. This happened to me a lot, like in places where I was one of the few people dancing, and I'm like, oh dude, this is my time to dance. I don't really want to talk right now, but in VR you can just turn off their voices and turn up the music,
blocked.
And so you can just dance and truly ignore them. It's so fun. It's the best.
I feel that. I see that. I see the utility in that. Yeah.
But there's also, you can also just like meet humans, and I always wanted to do some teaching in there.
Yeah, dude, I know. I saw a guy on Instagram that I actually went to a rave with one time. He's
like
selling, real money, IRL.
IRL.
Yeah. And he's like selling real estate or something, but he was like showing off this metaverse and it was a metaverse that had educational content in it for him, and that's why he had access to it through his job. And that's interesting. So, VR metaverse classroom. Boom. Yeah. People are already doing it.
I've seen it. I've done a couple prototypes in it. I've been in some prototypes of it, but I'm sure it's evolved. I'm sure it's come a long way. Yeah. Dude, it is so nice to hang out.
I've got like 3 proposals for marketplaces to sell.
Yeah.
I've reviewed 3 proposals for marketplaces to sell courses, as like teachers come to sell courses and students come to take the courses, and then there's credentialing that can be done through the
Yeah.
through the through the marketplace.
That's awesome. I love that.
Yeah.
I was just
And
looking at digital badges again for this very reason the other day.
digital
The
badges, yeah,
well,
we're
digital.
designing some of those.
There's Open Path, which is the Open Digital Badge Standard, and it's like most badges will support it because it's the one that can talk through the most SCORMs. Those are the learning systems. The
So there's
SCORM
some
is
standard.
there's like standards, yeah. There's ways that educational software talks to each other and puts classes in a format there's like a couple of open standards for it. And how do we start this conversation? What was that?
Yeah.
Badges.
Yeah.
You're making badges and you're giving badges to students for completing courses. That's amazing. I would love to teach like a online GED or get like a science GED going. That would be the best. That would be like, it'd be super fun to focus on basics and acquiring this like basic science. Like get to high school level science, and then your phone doesn't look like wizardry to you anymore. It's an understandable set of systems that you can interact with.
Yeah. Dude,
we
gotta figure out
fun
how
rabbit
to. Can you help me bring that standards agency to standard setting body and get the documentation for it so we can take it and implement it on Cardano?
Dude, that's wild.
Because
but I can totally put you some resources.
I literally am in contact with my network is in contact with on a weekly basis Cardano Foundation, and we have started a community to create standards for things like this, and we're even talking in one of our meetings next week and having some presentations about the technical aspects of and whatnot, special like prototype credentialing that the Cardano Foundation is working on with like the University of Zurich or something like that.
That sounds awesome.
Week. And
that sounds amazing.
And that's next week. I just pushed a email notification to 40 people, like 40 builders who are like actively building software or heads of the biggest marketplaces, all of the stuff on Cardano to work on standard setting. And I want to find good ways to integrate. And if there's some standard badge system that we need to figure out how to integrate with.
Oh yeah, I'm taking a couple.
We just
I'm gonna send you
and implement how that aspect, like how to do the connection between those two.
That's awesome.
Those, like, I'm gonna send you able to create those badges on Cardano.
If you support these standards, then you basically have a badge that has multiple payloads. But if you use one of these open standards, then whatever you do inside of it, even if you do extra, at least the stuff that's in the standard is going to plug into all of the existing badging backpacks and things like that. So I met this guy who had a company named Badger.io. And he was the CEO of this company called Concentric Sky, and I was like, asked him some kind of question. I was in this big crowd, and I asked him a question about the name of his company, and it was like Emerson. It was like an Emerson quote, and he was like, "Do you know who Emerson is?" I was like, looking around, like, I totally fucking know Emerson. He's a great poet, Ralph Waldo, buddy. And he was like, "That's nuts, man. Most people don't get that." Anyway, so he was like wanted to tell me all about his situation, and he had this company, Badger.io, and they are, I think, the largest provider of open standard badges in the in the educational area, he at least. And anywho, I'll send you that, and there's a link on his site to the Open Path standard, which is what his badges are based on. And it's that if you support that Open Path standard, you're probably on very good technical footing to interact with all these learning management systems. The one that he was interacting with was Canvas, which is that was one that I used.
Yeah, no, we're
years.
using Canvas for some other stuff. So hell yeah, I love
Canvas
that.
is awesome.
This is great because I need to do that. Like, yeah, we're gonna be creating credentials for project-based learning that we're doing through Canvas modules. We're building through Canvas modules.
Project-based learning, yeah, dude, that's the best. That's the best. Yeah. Dude, you can count me in for that, but you can also count me in for that NFT guild that you were talking about last week too. Like whenever you wanted me to come and ask questions or whatever, I've got some flexibility. The earlier I know about it, the better.
Okay.
Shall we Scooby-Doo this shit?
Yeah, let's head it out. Baby Scott here.
Everyone have a great afternoon.